Unbelievable concepts of the future. Ever wondered about life in the future, how people will live, transport, and do work? All of us are aware of flying cars and robots, but what about other future living concepts? With our selection of futuristic concepts, you'll be amazed. So let's begin. These are currently only ideas, however, it won't take long for a concept to become a reality. Some of these have already been accepted, while others are in progress. Let's examine each one in turn, starting from the simplest. Orbit, the washing machine of the future. The Orbit spherical washing machine is intended for future generations in 2050. The Orbit spherical washing machine is an independent device. When this cutting-edge washing machine operates, it generates its own energy. It makes absolutely no noise and doesn't require any water or soap. Huge batteries are concealed in the central ring and are recharged when the Orbit is not in use owing to induction technology. It's pretty futuristic that when the Orbit operates, it floats like a cloud. Liquid nitrogen on a superconductive surface enables this and makes use of the magnetic flux generated by the built-in magnet inside the ring. This causes magnetic levitation as a result. A supersonic jet of solid CO2 is shot through pipes as part of the cryogenic cleaning process. Clothes will be completely free of any stains and filth after this procedure. The tube draws in the CO2, which is then changed back into its solid state. The air and the clothes are both cleaned and refreshed by the negative ions. The Line, Neom. Saudi Arabia recently proposed The Line, which is the future metropolitan city and is part of Saudi Vision 2030. It'll be made up of two parallel skyscrapers that will span 170 kilometers from the shore of the Red Sea through the desert and up into the mountains. It'll be 200 meters wide, rise to a height of 500 meters, and be surrounded by enormous mirrors. Along with 9 million people's worth of residential spaces, The Line will also include parks, schools, and places for entertainment. Press announcements highlighted several other benefits, including the transportation infrastructure that will link the city's two ends and the residences and shops' primarily horizontal architecture. Despite the lack of information, individuals responsible for the design claim that the line won't have any roads, cars, or pollutants and will function purely on renewable energy. Sections of the line will be connected by high-speed rail. In approximately 20 minutes, the rail will cover the entire city. The future of zero carbon emissions is bright and attainable with such a design. Honda Chopper motorcycle design. This idea is for you if you like motorcycles or Star Wars. In reality, this is simply another amazing idea from designer Peter Norris. Simply known as the Honda Chopper concept, the chassis' slightly curved appearance is characterized by a futuristic linear design. The chopper's streamlined, elongated shape displays a long front suspension with a foot pedal and a seating position. But the low-emission component of this new technology was what attracted our natural curiosity. Two reliable yet compact electric hub motors will be fitted to the motorcycle to further decrease its center of gravity. Of course, improved efficiency and better control will result from this. With this design, Honda sincerely wants people all across the world to enjoy sci-fi films and games. The Flying Pyramid Superyacht. This futuristic idea, developed by London-based architect Jonathan Swinge, may soon come to pass. The yacht's shape may be reduced down to a tetrahedron's fundamental geometry. A three-based pyramid with 4 faces and 6 leading edges offers the bare minimum of enclosure and stability. Its shape creates a roof that is mathematically sensible, pure, precise, and logical from which to link the hull assembly. Due to limitations in ocean-going hull design, basic forms are not typically used in the construction of ships and motor yachts. When moving quickly, the tetrahedron will appear to be hovering above the water like a flying boat. The Hiswas, or hydrofoil small waterplane area ship hull, which is made out of a single vertical column on a single submerged rocket hull, is responsible for producing this. On side-mounted adjustable hydrofoils, this vessel will quickly lift out of the water. Long-distance, smooth navigation in choppy water at high speeds will prevent heeling and slamming in rough conditions and will end seasickness once and for all. In the aviation sector, an autopilot fly-by-light system would manage the challenging roll pressures and preserve foil-borne speed. Pitch and heave would also be controlled by this. Zero personal helicopter. Have a daydream in which you relocate from one location to another to avoid a traffic jam? How about air travel? Well, check out Hector Del Amo's Zero helicopter concept. This cutting-edge design idea was created as a personal transportation system for the future. We've long dreamed of traveling from one location to another without encountering traffic. This one-person vehicle isn't your typical helicopter. Well, it's not a private jet either, but it gets the job done in a pretty stylish manner. Theoretically, this Zero helicopter would not only be energy efficient, but also simple to operate, economical, and most crucially, it would require less space to land than a typical helicopter. There's still significant issues with this idea, particularly the fact that the Zero helicopter has no doors, which puts the passenger in more danger. Although it will be simpler to implement a flying transportation system, which will also be a fantastic solution to lessen road traffic than it will be to create a smarter car. Neptune balloon. A business by the name of Space Perspective has developed an idea that is amazing in its simplicity. A balloon voyage to the outer regions of the atmosphere that is rocket-free, requires little training, and doesn't involve worrying about stomach twisting. After completing its first test flight, the stratospheric balloon that will carry visitors to the edge of space has allowed ticket sales to begin at a cool $125,000 each. About 19 miles above the surface of the Earth, Neptune is a balloon system with a capsule attached that can carry 8 people and a pilot to the stratosphere. The capsule's occupants will have a field of vision of 450 miles once the balloon reaches its highest point. Even if they didn't quite have that view from orbit, it's still breathtaking. The interior's dark illumination by programmable LED mood lighting is more than just fashionable. It is also realistic and far different from the typical science fiction portrayals of space travel. The flights will take off before sunrise and reach a suborbital zone 100,000 feet above the Earth in 2 hours while moving at a comfortable speed of up to 12 miles an hour. Although officially higher than 99.9% of the planet's atmosphere, it is technically barely below space. After gliding for 2 more hours, the capsule will descend in 2 further hours. Thus, you'll have a space tour in just 6 hours. The Sky Cruise concept. Meet the Sky Cruise, a huge flying resort that Tony Holmsten first imagined roughly 11 years ago and that Hashem Al-Ghaili recently animated. The airplane has almost every comfort you can think of and is a mix between an ocean liner and a spaceship. More than 5,000 visitors can travel on board thanks to its enormous size via commercial or private aircraft. The views are undoubtedly the best feature once you check in terms of what you can enjoy. A raised deck would offer a 360-degree view from which to observe the aurora borealis and other celestial phenomena. The main entertainment deck, which resembles a cruise liner on steroids, is reached from there via an elevator. You'd have access to theaters, movie theaters, sports arenas, swimming pools, restaurants, and pubs. While the experience as a whole sounds spectacular, there's one part of the Sky Cruise that may surpass all the others. Since the aircraft is built to run on nuclear energy, it can withstand the elements for an extended period without needing to land. A small nuclear reactor on board would use a well-regulated fusion reaction to produce endless energy, powering 20 electric engines. To minimize air turbulence, the craft would use artificial intelligence. The Sky Cruise is currently a notion taken right out of a science fiction movie. Who knows though, perhaps one day we'll all be floating through space together, taking in the scenery and swimming laps at a height of millions of kilometers. The Hexatrack system. We've talked about the idea of a space balloon trip. Well, how about a bullet train to the moon, Mars, and back? Although it seems a bit fantastical, human beings are relentless in their ideas. According to Japanese experts, a space railway will travel from Earth to Mars. This train will travel to the moon. Experts from Kyoto University and the building company Kajima Corporation designed the project. A hexagon space track system transit system will be developed. According to the experts, as it travels between the Earth, the Moon, and Mars, this interplanetary space train will produce its gravity. A project named The Glass has also been produced by Japanese experts. Its objective is to build an artificial gravity dwelling facility that simulates earthly settings. Grandiose plans to erect a 1,300-foot structure on the moon have been made public by Japanese scientists. Every 20 seconds, it rotates to create normal gravity. Doesn't appear that the idea will happen anytime soon, though. The Glass is said to take roughly 100 years to create, while a more basic version might be present on the moon by 2050. By the end of this decade, NASA intends to send people back to the moon. The construction of a human community on the moon is also underway. But with Japan's rapid advancement in technology, who knows if we will achieve this concept earlier than expected. This ends the video for today. With evolving technology, who knows where we will be in the next 10 or 20 years? Share with us if you have any interesting future concepts. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this.